guys, welcome to the Garbage Time Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Nolan. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribing on iTunes, downloading, listening, telling your friends about it, telling your enemies about it. That was big of you. Today I'm joined by producer Matt.
Hello.
And producer Dave.
Heyo.
Later in the show I'll be joined by Fox Sports' Carissa Thompson. Here is a quick moment from that chat.
I don't give a shit if I take a selfie because I think that my makeup looks good or I actually look like I don't have 9 chins in the picture. Like, I don't give a shit. I've completely sold out on that. And I will raise my hand and be like, yeah, I used to think that's annoying. And now I have no problem doing it because if it allows me to do different things, if I can get a contact commercial or a mascara commercial or get a free pair of shoes because I post a picture, great. And if that makes me a sellout, then it makes me a sellout.
So if you want to skip ahead to hear the rest of that, that's about 20 minutes in. But first, we got to talk about other stuff. I'm not hungover, for the record. Big hip hop week. Big hip hop week here at Garbage Time.
Show.
That's why I poured one out into my mouth for my homies. I got rapping advice from Jadakiss on last night's show.
It was so awesome.
What?
Insane.
What was that?
I'm still sort of piecing it together, to be totally honest.
Jadakiss came into this studio. He brought a bust of himself.
Obviously.
Oh, man.
It was nice not being the one with the best bust in the room for once.
Oh,
You
hey-o.
feel me?
Shots fired.
Shots fired. So we sat in a room with a bunch of producers in silence, and I rapped, which we'll call it rapping,
Yeah.
about NBA players.
And he loved it.
He loved it.
He was.
So good. So good.
I was gonna say he was so into it, and it was just one of those things where like, hey, Jada, we have this idea. Kay's gonna rap to you about NBA players.
Could have gone either way.
gonna give
He
her
could have
advice.
been like absolute no on that.
And he was so in on it, and like gave you actual advice about like the beat and not letting the beat control you, you controlling the beat, and it
Did
was
we
just
make
amazing.
that a T-shirt?
really
Because
good
we need to
advice.
make that a T-shirt.
Yeah,
You
we
control
should
the
do that.
beat doesn't control you. What?
It's good life advice.
It really
sure.
is.
He, my favorite moment, you mentioned he brought in a bust of himself. And they set it up, and producer Garrett was producing that, and they asked if they could put up the bust. And he was like, yeah, obviously put up the bust. And he
Not
had
gonna
a
say
guy,
no.
he had a bust guy, and he was like, oh, let's get our bust out of here. I'm going to call him the bus driver.
The best.
The bus
Oh.
driver.
I wanted to like when he said that. The bust driver?
Like, that guy's accomplished everything in life.
He's
if
the best.
He's Jadakiss's bust driver.
I want a bus driver.
Amazing.
But also, keeping with this hip-hop theme, our good friend DAM on Twitter, he sent us a rap that he wrote about garbage time. Now, a little background on DAM, whose real name is Eric, I believe.
It is.
He did this for Crowd Goes Wild.
Yep.
So he likes to make raps about soon-to-be canceled shows, I think. Like, you don't see him rapping about Sports Center.
No.
So, anyway, can we play it?
Yeah.
God, I'm so fired up about this.
Everybody get up, cause it's garbage time. Wednesdays, midnight, never hard to find. Kelly Nolan is the best when it comes to sports, and that's where the beer mile never runs its course. So if shit ain't great, you better stop lying. Or she'll get mad and send it Rob Ryan. And better get the leader account, cause no one can match the comedy with an equal amount. The best guess is skits, oh yes it is. Second guess test and a mess of picks, so get ready. If it's one, applaud for the feature. Katie Nolan, garbage time, you are the completeness.
Oh, Dave! Oh! Kirk, you seem to really like that. You like it a lot? Okay, good. You really enjoyed it.
I mean, that's just great stuff.
That
right
is
there.
so good. I have one note, and that note is that we are very hard to find. In the beginning of the song
yeah.
it says we're never hard to find. I don't think people even know what channel Fox Sports 1 is.
But yeah, I love. He drops second guess tests.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's like he dropped beer mile. Like this guy, he loves us.
Do you have any notes, Matthew?
No, man. DAM's a big fan. He's been around for a while.
He
Back
has.
in the Crowd Goes Wild days. I mean, we have great fans.
I follow him on Twitter.
Nice.
When you've been around for a pretty long time, I might follow you on Twitter.
All right. I look
That's a
forward to
good
that day.
tease for
Yeah.
everybody. I follow on Twitter. Yeah, Katie Nolan tells her producer, "Stick around, maybe I'll follow you on Twitter."
Couple more years,
That's
maybe.
your
Maybe.
Christmas bonus. But anyway, in that rap, he says something like a mess of pics. I think he says we have
so.
a mess of pics, which I'll take that. I'll take that backhanded compliment. But for you, DAM, we're gonna go on now to America's favorite betting segment, Fade That Pick.
Fade that pick. These picks are being made by someone with absolutely zero gambling expertise, so if you choose to bet actual money on these picks, you're stupid and don't care about money because these picks are all probably going to be wrong. So definitely fade these picks.
Here's how this works. My producers are going to give me some info on a few games, and then I'm going to make my picks. But I do encourage you, as always, to do the opposite of what I say because it's called Fade That Pick, and that's what that means, and because I'm just winging it. And so I went 1-2 last week. I lost my lock of the week. Who was my lock of the? Oh, Seattle.
Seattle over
Well, that was just an
Dallas.
anger lock. It wasn't like a real pick. Yes, it was. So my overall record is what?
You are 5-4-1 and 1-1 on your locks of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I
Oh,
not
I'm sorry,
lock
1
one
and 2
week?
on your locks
Yeah,
of the
I was
week.
gonna say.
I messed it up. 1 and 2 of your locks of the week.
Okay, that's fine. It's like we're not getting them right, and I'm not getting them all wrong. I'm very much flying down the middle. Can't tell what this segment's gonna be because I just keep fucking it up. Let's get started. First game.
Falcons at Niners. Falcons -7.
Great. Matt, hit me with some stats.
Okay, here are some stats for you, Catherine. San Francisco, not good. Not good. Worst offense in the league, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was with Colin Kaepernick, who, not great, maybe not the worst. Meanwhile, guys, Blaine Gabbert is the worst. And now he's their starting quarterback this week.
Wild stuff.
Yeah.
Blaine Gabbert.
I'd rather have David Blaine as quarterback than Blaine Gabbert.
I'd rather have Yo Gabba Gabbert as my
wow.
quarterback. Oh. It's a dad joke for you, Chris. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Well, as Ford mentioned, Kaepernick is being benched. Gabbert's in his starting quarterback. But I love this. There were reports this week that the Niners wanted to bench Kaepernick last week, but decided to wait so that Gabbert could debut against a weak Falcons defense at home.
Are they weak?
They're not that weak. So it just feels like a weird excuse. They're actually they're number 11 in the league in defense as far as yards allowed per game. So I think maybe it's more the being at home thing, or maybe they're just making a ton of excuses that make no sense.
Well, so I kind of like this concept of waiting to not like throw him to the wolves, because it sort of reminds me of when of the Browns situation where everyone was like, "Give us Johnny Manziel,"
Right.
and it's like, no, if you give them Johnny Manziel and Johnny Manziel sucks, then Johnny Manziel, then who are you gonna start? Right. And Johnny Manziel's confidence is destroyed, and he won't go back out there and do well, and you guys wouldn't have another quarterback. So I like the waiting before you make a decision. You don't see a lot of that, but I love picturing that Colin Kaepernick has only been starting because they're saving Blaine Gabbert. We've got to wait to make sure Blaine's good, which he won't be.
No.
I don't think.
No. It's Blaine Gabbert. We're talking about, they're acting as if, the difference between him being awful and great is just giving him one more week to build up that confidence so he can be at home against Atlanta. I just don't see how that's going to matter at all.
Blaine
don't
Gabbert
either.
was picked in between Tyron Smith, maybe the best left tackle in the league, and J.J. Watt, who's pretty good too.
No.
Yeah. And they traded up, the Jaguars traded up for him.
No.
Yeah. And the Redskins used the Jaguars pick to pick Ryan Kerrigan, also
Blaine
good.
Gabbert.
Yeah.
We got friggin' Mel Kiper over here
Yeah,
with the
that's
right.
with the
What is
draft
Sorry.
knowledge.
Sorry,
not
I
even-
prepared for this.
You're not
love
even
it. This is
reading off
great.
of a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You're just saying
Just off-
facts from your
off the
brain.
top of my brain.
Did you
Fire.
not have any of the beers last night that were
It's
on
a
the
performance-enhancing drug.
table? My
Yeah.
God. So, okay, what are my options? Falcons -7. I don't know. Matt, what are you picking?
Falcons by 100.
Dave.
I'm going against the grain here. Atlanta hasn't looked so
Shocking.
good. Why? I don't know. Is Atlanta, they last 3 games lost to New Orleans, barely beat Tennessee, lost to Tampa at home. I believe in Blaine Gabbert, a sentence I never thought I would say. I'll take Niners +7.
Good luck with that.
Matt Ryan doesn't look very good.
Right.
What's up with him?
I agree. I keep waiting. He's my fantasy quarterback, and I keep waiting for him to do things. And every week it's like 13 points for Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Yay.
I don't know what his deal is. Oh, I started. Who did I have this week? I'll move on. I'm going to go to Falcons -7.
Fade that pick.
Don't fade that pick. That is like, don't fade that. That's the smart pick. Okay, next game.
Broncos at Colts. Broncos -5.
Horse game.
Horse game.
Horses.
Horse game. Horse game. Matt, give me some stats.
Did you guys hear that horse in here just a second ago?
No. Oh, there he
Wow.
is.
Yeah. Wow.
Nay, I didn't hear.
Special guest, a horse.
Delete your account. Get out of here.
Oh man.
Guys, lots of talk about Indianapolis's offense. Obviously, Pep Hamilton was fired this week. Indianapolis has the 29th best defense in the league. So third worst defense in the league is probably the better way to view that.
I hate the way
Not a good
those
defense.
things are phrased.
Yeah.
That is so confusing to me. 29th worst.
Yeah.
Worst.
Let me just sort of reset that. Not good. Colts
They're
defense
just bad.
Safe to say.
awful, putrid. But obviously, Pep Hamilton fired this week. Third straight loss by the Colts.
Poor Pep Hamilton.
This is Andrew Luck speaking here. Andrew Luck, by the way, Pep Hamilton was his offensive coordinator at Stanford, so they
Yeah.
go back. Andrew Luck said, a lot of emotions, none of them good, which is a nice attitude to take going into a short week against the league's best defense.
That's true.
Good
Yeah.
attitude.
I feel bad for Pep Hamilton.
Me too.
I feel
it's
like
not his fault.
there's a lot of things wrong with your team. You might as well just give Pep, just wait and see if you should let Pep rally.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Did you watch me try to form that
Oh.
sentence so that Pep and Rally would be next
Yeah,
to each
just
other?
like stretch.
That was
Yeah.
awful. Go
I
ahead,
just-
Dave.
No, I feel, like he's definitely falling on the sword here. It's like this team's just been struggling in general, and to say that it's all on him seems a little unfair. They surrounded Andrew Luck with old people like Frank Gore and Andre Johnson.
Old people.
And also
Decrepit.
Jay Glazer reported Sunday that Andrew Luck has been playing with multiple fractured ribs since week 3.
So keep going, but I have to tell you a text message I got in regards to this that I am dying laughing about.
While you find that, I'll just say now the NFL is investigating whether the Colts violated NFL rules by not disclosing the injury, because you
Yes.
have to do it.
Right.
So, again, it goes back to is really this is Pep's fault?
So Sunday at 8,
Yeah.
I get this. Get on Twitter and get in on this hashtag Ribsgate joke from Bill Simmons.
Oh.
And I said, what are you talking about? Because rarely is there something happening on Twitter that Bill Simmons is like plugged into that I didn't see. I'm always on my stupid Twitter. And then he said, check my timeline. So I went and saw, we're trying to make Ribsgate a thing.
I like that there's a Boston sports Twitter Illuminati that gets
It
together.
felt like a news
anytime
team.
they can-
Assemble!
Yeah, right.
Like, get on Twitter and help me out. Boston hashtag
The
forever.
Patriots don't have enough going for them. Let's all get together and haze Ryan Grigson.
Yep. So we have to make Ribsgate a thing.
All right, we'll try.
Or else
Everyone.
I'll get
I'm on
disowned
board.
by my surrogate dad, Bill Simmons.
Good enough for me.
All right, I'm in on it.
Yeah.
Who are you taking here?
Denver, all day.
Who are you taking, David?
I'm also taking Denver -5. I keep waiting for Peyton to have his breakout game, and I think this is it against his former team.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even touch on that narrative. Is that dead yet? Is that narrative dead yet?
It's not.
He's
'cause
going back to Indy.
No one ever, any narrative
If we
around
don't talk
Peyton.
about it, where else will people
Right.
hear
Also,
about that?
That's true.
Yeah.
Right.
That's-
No
Also,
one's talking
guys,
about it.
is Peyton done? Is he washed up? I don't know.
I'm going to take the Broncos -5.
Fade that pick.
Okay, next game.
Redskins at Patriots. Patriots -14.
This is very important to us.
Very
Because
important.
for those of you who don't know, producer Matt, huge Redskins fan.
Yep.
And producer Katie, huge Patriots fan. I don't know.
Oh, for
Breaking
reals?
news here.
Oh, for real?
Breaking news.
So Matt, give me some stats.
Well, I think we should just quickly shift this conversation to who's going to win this game to will the Redskins cover, which I'm
Yes.
also not sure about.
Yes.
Tom Brady.
-14. Are you kidding
This
me?
is not. This is nothing to do with the line. Tom Brady 94-15 at home.
Wild.
How incredible is
That's
that?
wild.
But the Pats are only 17-30 against the spread as double-digit favorites with Tom Brady as quarterback, and they've had quite a few. They had one this year. They played the Jags. They were favored by, I think, less than this actually, and they won 50-0 or something
How
stupid.
does that feel that the line against the Jaguars was
I honestly feel that it's
Smaller.
it's off. Like I think that I think Washington's not great, but I think that, they have a chance to
Yeah, 14
not embarrass themselves.
is a lot.
Yeah.
It seems too big. The other strange thing about, you said Brady's 94 and 15 at home. As a person who's been to Gillette, we don't have that, like, home field advantage in the way that other stadiums do. Like Denver and anything that's built recently that have, like, they build it up so that sound stays in the stadium. Gillette is built like this, out. It's like a bowl. It's open. And so there's no, obviously they're all bowls, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
It doesn't really curve back in, and you don't have that loudness. And also Patriots fans aren't as good at the loudness because we're just always loud. So we're just not like at the right
You get
times.
that home equipment staff to deflate the balls.
Oh, is that what it is? We bug the locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Dave,
there-
what do you got?
A story attached to this is Kirk Cousins is apparently like a really cool guy. Every got a lot of.
You like him.
Everyone,
You like him.
We like him.
You like him.
We like
we
that.
like him. He did the you like that thing, and then he did a Reddit AMA this week and like answered some fun questions. Like, was Mike Shanahan as red in person as he is on TV? He was also asked, "What's your favorite movie that was released in the '90s?" And he brought up Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison.
So he looks like he listed every movie made in the 90s.
And he also said The Mighty Ducks and Remember the Titans. It's like, okay, they asked for your favorite, but whatever. But yeah, he seems pretty cool, which I think for Redskins fans, Matt, you could speak to this. Like, everyone wanted RG3 to be the savior, and he fizzled quickly. So maybe Cousins is, the new guy.
Yeah, I mean, Cousins isn't a great quarterback, but I think he's a professional, I mean, for him,
Counterpoint, yes, he is a great quarterback.
I like that. Sold. I mean, I think tough situation. I mean, to come in behind Griffin, he probably wasn't gonna get a ton of playing time, but he handled all that well. He stepped in, kind of. No one was really rooting for him so much, and he's done a decent job.
Yeah.
I love Katie also with her little troll there because Belichick and Brady have been doing that all week too. Belichick was like gushing about Cousins the other day about how he spreads the ball
weird.
around to all different receivers. It's like, okay.
We talked about this yesterday when we were filming the show, and I got like a notification on my phone. It was like, Bill Belichick says in order to beat the Redskins, the Patriots will have to really prepare. And I was like, what is this to Matt? Like, are we kidding? I don't know.
Yes, he is kidding.
Yeah,
he is
probably.
actually kidding.
How does that feel to be trolled?
It feels customary. It's
Yeah.
appropriate. Like, they're not good.
All right, Matt, what are you doing? What's your pick?
I do think the Skins will cover. Deshaun Jackson's back. I think that that gives them a chance
is
to score
he?
some quick
I didn't know
points.
I'm taking the Pats -14. I do not worry about Deshaun Jackson being back so much. I think Pats are in blowout mode these next few weeks, and I'll take Pats -14.
The Patriots are going to win this game, but I think that the Redskins will cover, so I'm going to take Redskins +14. +14.
Yeah.
Fade that pick.
Now it's time for my lock of the week.
Katie Nolan's Lock of the Week.
My lock of the week this week is Chicago +4. Lock of the week. Lock it in. Fade that motherfucking pick.
Definitely fade that pick.
So we're on to the guest portion, which is good because I need a break from talking. Last night I chatted with Carissa Thompson before the beers. But we talked about why she doesn't hesitate to post pictures of herself on Instagram, what it was like when she filled in as a moderator on First Take, which is my personal idea of hell, and then the differences between the two of us as TV personalities. She's a fascinating person. She's a good friend. We also talked about whether a hot dog is a sandwich or not, which we were doing before everybody else did it. So I'm not saying we were the first to do it, but it's going to get played out real fast, but we're not going to stop. Find out if Carissa Thompson thinks a hot dog is a sandwich right now. Carissa Thompson, you wanted to be a sideline reporter since you were little, which I think is adorable because I never knew what I wanted to do, and you really did know what you wanted to do.
I did.
My question, I guess, is what's the biggest difference between what you thought sideline reporting was going to be and like what it is in real life?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
It's you can end now on one good question.
You're good.
It's so much preparation for not a lot of I don't know, reward, should I say. And it's because you're a victim of the game, right? You can study all you want, and in the game, if Adrian Peterson or DeMarco Murray or, Tony Romo, anybody goes down, like that's the story. So clearly, and that makes sense. But who cares about the special interest stories and that kind of stuff if the game goes a certain direction or somebody gets hurt, et cetera, et cetera. And when I was doing college football sideline reporting, it was a lot more of those special interests. Like Timmy, got his start in football because his dad brought him, to the field every day. And Timmy also likes to play the violin. There's a lot of that. Whereas in the NFL, it's like, not, it's more reactionary game stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So you just have to be prepared for anything that happens ever. And if nothing happens, you still have to have something prepared, basically.
It's just, it's so much prep for what you actually get out of it. Like 3, maybe 20-second hits throughout the game. It's an awesome thing. I'm so glad I did it because the personal relationships, and you actually get to know players because you're in team meetings with them on Saturday. You're on conference calls with coaches during the week. So it actually helps establish those relationships. So later on down the road, as you continue to see different teams. And for me, I did a lot of NFC North assignments when I was doing full-time sideline reporting because I was doing a college game Saturday. Then just for logistics, I ended up with a lot of, Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, Green Bay games.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy. That is something that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be a sideline reporter, and I feel very lucky that I did that early on. In fact, if they told me I had to go back out and do it, it would be great. I filled in for Erin last year when she would go and do World Series.
Yeah.
And I was planning on doing that again this year until the studio show came about. But I still enjoy it. It's just a different
world.
It's a different world, yeah. And you have to, more than any other job, I think is more of that contrary to what's happening here with this wig. There's a lot of Barbie mentions when you're on the sideline.
Yeah. Do you think that what the reason you aspired to do that when you were little is because when you watched sports television, that's where you saw women? Do you think that had to do with it?
Yeah, I wanted to be Melissa Stark.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Football, or I wanted, to be Susie Colbert. I wanted to be, that was the role. There was less studio jobs, less hosting gigs for women, and it was a lot more sideline reporting. So yes, that's what I saw. So that in my mind was females are sideline reporters.
And look at us now.
Yeah. What do we do now? What are we?
This is a television show or something, I think. A podcast. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Now that you've done studio stuff and the sideline stuff and one-on-one interviewee stuff, what's the part that you enjoy the most of what you do? And that includes extra and stuff that isn't necessarily
100% hosting the NFL show on Sunday.
Really? Why?
Not even a question. That is if sideline reporting was a dream job, that's I'm in heaven, so cheesy, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite. It's not something I ever thought I would be able to do, is host a morning NFL pregame show.
And you're very good at it.
Well, I don't know about that, Katie, but thank you for the endorsement. It's a work in progress. I mean, I've 7 shows, actually 6 because we didn't have one last week. It's an interesting thing, and I can't wait to hopefully get better in the space.
That's so inspiring.
You know what? Don't be a jerk.
I'm saying it's inspiring. I'm being honest.
I never know when you're serious.
Most of this will be pretty serious. You'll know.
Okay. I apologize.
No, it's okay. On that note, when you were working at ESPN, and I know you've said before, you loved it and you're not going to say anything bad about it. And I love that and respect it. But you filled in as a moderator a couple times on First Take, correct?
Yeah.
What is that like to sit in between two people who you probably definitely don't agree with anything they're saying, but you know that it's not your job to voice how you feel about what they're saying, and you just have to make their conversation easier to have?
You make their conversation easier to have by not saying anything.
I know, but how does that feel? Just let them talk over you,
it was fine only because I knew what the job was. It wasn't I was filling in. It wasn't my seat to try to earn.
Right.
And that's not the role. It's you're going to go be a substitute teacher and go fill in for the class, and all of a sudden you're going to try to take over the class, and you've changed the placard on the door, and it's no, it's Mrs. Thompson's class. No, it's not. It's someone else's class. You're just filling in.
You just roll in the TV and play a movie that day. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. Wants. That's what substitute teachers do. Yeah. And you're awesome if you bring candy and hand it out to them. So in my case, for Skip and Steve and just get out of the way. And I personally, before working on that show, honestly, I had a very different opinion of both of them. And then once I worked on the show, I was like, oh, okay. I have a tremendous amount of respect for whether you like them or not, their prep, how hard it is to, for 2 hours, sit there and argue back and forth with someone and have built up and constructed arguments with facts to support it. It's like a lot of like being a lawyer, right? In terms of debate. Like, here's the evidence to support my thesis, boom, boom, boom. And to do that every single day, even when there isn't a lot of news, and yes, you have to come up and manufacture topics, which is annoying at times, you still have to do it, and you still have to act like you care. And that's harder. It's harder than it actually looks.
I'll agree with you on that. I'll let you compliment First Take on my podcast. I'll agree with you on that. One of the biggest differences between the two of us is that I don't think I could fill in on First Take because I can't keep my mouth shut. I don't have the ability to not just be like, excuse me, this is fuckery and I don't agree with it. And we've had this conversation before, and you've said in, I don't know, 3 to 5 interviews, you've addressed this, that I will say things that you wouldn't say on TV because you have to maintain professionalism so that you can get another job. And I guess
but people know you for being
unprofessional.
No. People know you for having strong opinions. No one would ever say, "Oh, Carissa Thompson has strong opinions." That's not who I am.
Well, so my question is like, what makes you see the value in one way versus the other? Because I see it as like, I don't have any other choice.
I think we coexist. Like that. I think that's so awesome that you can say how you feel, and many times I want to, but and one is not better than the other. I mean, you build.
No, I think you are much more successful than I am. So I'm not even saying that there's more.
I'm like 100 freaking years old. So,
you're ridiculous.
Like you, and this isn't just a love fest because that's annoying for everyone. But like, you started doing your videos on YouTube and got picked up, and were on a national and have your own show nationally. In like, how long have you been doing this?
This show,
okay.
Like a year.
No, but like in sports, not
like 2 years.
YouTube.
2 years.
Okay, 2 years?
Yeah.
I didn't have my own show on, let's just go back. I've never had my own show. So let's just start and end there.
But but that's my point. You don't want, like, this isn't what you would want to do.
Well, sure, I would want my own show, but it would have to be, no one's going to give me my own show, like, without a, like, Kelly and Michael kind of situation. I'm not going to be able to host my own show and, like, argue with myself back and forth? No. Like, your comments about Roger Goodell will put you in headlines because you have strong opinions on something. I'm never going to make headlines with strong opinions.
But why not?
It's not my thing. It's like, why do you like eating at a sushi restaurant versus eating at a steakhouse? It's like, what's your preference?
So many metaphors. It's like the third of the podcast.
My world is analogies. It's like, I just don't, it's not what I want. I don't want to be you. And that's awesome because
you shouldn't want to be. It's awful.
No. It's not like, I have opinions on things, but unless they're really, really like passionate or personal to me, I'm not going to be over the top with it. Like, I don't like debating. I'm more of a reporter. Like, let me ask you questions. That's why I immediately was like, well, why do you like to do this job? Like, I'm more inquisitive and want to know about why somebody feels the way they do, as opposed to, and then they can be like, okay, well, how do you feel? I'm like, no. It's just not going to be as decisive as yours, just because that's the nature of my personality.
I'll agree with that. You have a very kind personality, very positive energy.
I'm a real bitch too, but
yeah.
I think it's just difference of styles. Like, I love that you can say whatever you want. And there are plenty of times which I wish I could do that, but that's not my skill set.
Yeah, I think you do have that skill set, but we'll just leave that conversation for another time. You want to talk about Extra? Can we talk about Extra?
Of course you can talk about Extra.
So you do sports and entertainment now. How long did you just do sports for, like, exclusively? Was it 5?
So 2006 was my first on air. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half. So 8 years.
So when did you decide in those 8 years or whatever that you wanted to do something else as well? Because there's a lot of pressure to be like, women, if you aren't, you don't know sports and blah, 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 that I would worry if, like, too soon I would do something else. People were like, oh, you used sports as platform. When did you decide that you
it wasn't a decision. Like, I think for me, it's always been, if there's a job available, I'll do it. I hosted a rodeo show when I was at Fox. I hosted a game show. I've done that stupid show Splash. I shouldn't say stupid. That's not very nice. It was actually a great opportunity on network TV, but the show was,
It
could have been
was
better.
interesting.
It could have been better, but that's not being disrespectful. It's like I could have been better and not worn hot pink dresses, but it's neither here
I
nor there.
loved that dress.
Look, it was from BB, and I will not apologize for it.
Really?
No, it's called Take Any Job You Can Possibly Get.
So you just like to work a lot.
Yeah, I do like to work a lot because I'm not naive enough to believe. I'm really sorry. I know. I'm not naive to believe that this is going to last forever. In fact, I hope it just keeps lasting another contract because, and that's might be cheesy to say, but it's true because let's be real. There's you, there's younger and hotter and all those kind of people, funnier, smarter, coming up after you. And if you don't sort of solidify or be willing to do anything and everything, you're not going to have a job very long.
You work a lot.
I work a lot, but I actually like it. I mean, I'll say this. It would be kind of nice to maybe not work every day, but I've made that decision. So once you do it, I'm a big believer. It's all right, if you agree to have 2 jobs, then just suck it up and do it. No one wants to hear oh, just so busy. It's dude, you signed up for that shit.
I just don't think people understand how busy you are. You are constantly working all the time.
No, I actually, I will say extra since football season started has been really nice and not put me on as many night shoots. For example, I have to do a night shoot tomorrow and try to interview Brad and Angelina, which sounds so ridiculous, but I mean it. They'll walk on the red carpet and then I'll scream and yell their name and hope they stop and talk to me, which they probably won't. Want another good thing about me?
What?
At this point is I've actually stopped caring what people think. I used to care a lot more. And even though I won't be able to give as strong opinions as you have because I want to host the Today Show one day, not saying you can't with your strong opinions.
No, I can't.
Well, okay, I'm going to say you probably can't. I'm kidding. I have started to care less and less, which might get me fired or promoted. We're not sure. There's a lot of people that don't like me. Not that I don't care. That's not true. I take that back. I do care if people don't like me, but if it's for certain reasons that I don't feel are justified. But if people are I just don't like her because she's fucking annoying, I'll be oh, cool. All right. That's cool. I don't like everyone. I get it. But if there's misconceptions about me that oh, she thinks she's too this or this, I'm oh, really?
Yeah, that's the worst. When people just don't understand you. Because you're very pretty and you post very pretty pictures of yourself on Instagram, which I, as a person who doesn't, which is because you look like a model and I am a schlub.
Oh, here we go.
No, but so do you ever worry that you hurt your credibility when when you make decisions like that? Why not?
Why? Because you have to be ugly to know about sports?
No, but because people tell us that we only get our jobs because of our looks. Was there ever a
Who tells you that?
Everybody.
By the way, I disagree with that premise because it's 2015, and if whoever these people are, I disagree with that. The only people you should really care about are the people that are actually hiring you. And your family and your close friends. And I don't give a shit if I take a selfie because I think that my makeup looks good or I actually look like I don't have 9 chins in the picture. I don't give a shit. I've completely sold out on that. And I will raise my hand and be yeah, I used to think that's annoying. And now I have no problem doing it because if it allows me to do different things, if I can get a contact commercial or a mascara commercial or get a free pair of shoes because I post a picture, great. And if that makes me a sellout, then it makes me a sellout. But it's all part, there's a big packaging, marketing aspect, and I look at everything in a very short window and through a very small lens of how long this is going to last because I'm pretty sure in a couple years, no one's really, or maybe they don't care already, care what shoes I have on or what, MAC eyeshadow I'm wearing. So in the meantime, if people do care, go for it.
It's funny because it's kind of like an athlete mentality of I have to make this money while I can. I'm not going to be able to do this my whole life.
Yeah, and I no longer apologize for that. I'm not going to apologize for trying to look pretty. I don't care if you're on TV or not on TV. My neighbor next door gets ready in the morning and wants to present herself in a respectable way, and in doing so, she, gets a compliment for being pretty. What, because she's an accountant, she should be ugly? I'm confused. Why is she limited to sports?
You're very logical.
I don't I don't look at it that way anymore. I actually think that the viewer is smarter than we think. That there's always going to be those idiots that are like, oh, you just do this because you want to, like, sleep with athletes, or you want to, you get paid, or you think you're pretty, or whatever bullshit stuff. It's like, no, I actually do this because I really like the job. I really like working in sports. I also now really like working in entertainment. And if it doesn't work out for me, I can go back and, like, I enjoy working with kids, and I would go probably either be a teacher or go work at a hospital with kids that are sick, because that's something I'm passionate about. So it's really like, this shit can all end tomorrow, and I will be like, that was awesome. A great run. Super stoked I was able to do that. And I'll on to the next.
That's a very good way to look at it. You're so refreshing, Carissa Thompson.
Am I so refreshing?
You're so refreshing. We're at the part of this show called the Garbage 10, where I ask you 10 questions I ask of every guest, and you have to.
Ooh, I like this.
Are you
okay,
ready?
I like rapid fire.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
What was your first AOL screen name?
I never had an AOL account. It was Hotmail.
What was your first Hotmail screen name?
I think it was like CJT. That's boring. CJT, maybe 123 or something at Hotmail.
Ranch or blue cheese?
Blue cheese. I like the chunks.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, me the chunks.
What's the first concert you ever went to?
Brooks and Dunn, Faith Hill, open for them. That's how old I am.
What?
Yep. Brooks and Dunn was the concert with my
incredible.
friend Katie Cooper, and Faith Hill opened for them.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Leonardo.
Why?
I like the name Leonardo.
Great. Do you put ketchup on top of your fries or on the side and then dip your fries into it?
When I dip, you dip, we dip. Dip. Because I don't like my fingers getting all dirty with a reach in to the ketchup.
Makes sense.
Fries.
What is your guilty pleasure television show? I know you have one.
Oh, for sure. Any Real Housewives.
Which ones are your favorite?
My favorite, I would say, I actually like the London one. I just started watching that recently. By watching, I mean, like, I've seen 3 episodes, but they seem like they've got their most shit together, and they have real jobs. I like Orange County.
New York? You're in New York?
Hills. No, New York doesn't really do much for me. I like Bethany, though. At least she's, like, got her shit together, too, even though she still is dysfunctional, which I appreciate that she calls attention to. You know what I like? What I like. This is like a big love fest with that, which, again, is annoying people. I like people who own their shit. Like, even if it's not something I agree with, like, just own it.
I like that. Question 7. Do you floss before you brush your teeth or after?
Oh, before.
Before and then you brush. Okay.
Yeah, because when you get all the stuff out, then when you brush, then it just, and then always with a little mouthwash, Listerine.
That's going to be a gif. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
That's a great question. I've never thought. Is a hot dog a sandwich? It has 2 pieces of bread, technically, that are joined together. Something in the middle. Yeah. I'll say it's a sandwich.
So if someone said, like, what kind of sandwich do you want? I'm going to go grab sandwiches. You would be like, I'll have a hot dog.
I would never eat a hot dog because I hate hot dogs. But, just to mess with people, because if someone's like, what kind of sandwich you want? They're thinking you're going to say turkey, and you'll be like, hot dog. And they're like, that's not a sandwich. And then you've got a great discussion.
So you stand by it now.
So I stand by it now. Thank you for turning me on to hot dogs and not actually having to eat them.
You're welcome. Just so you know, you're wildly wrong. Like, that's not the right answer. What's the last movie you went to see in the theater?
Black Mass.
Ooh, how was it?
Somebody who loves Boston. What? Johnny Depp. You never saw Black Mass?
No, I said, how was it? I didn't see it.
It was okay. I had higher expectations for it. It was all right.
All right. You're about to be put to death. What's your final meal? I need an entree, a dessert, and a beverage.
Spaghetti with meatballs.
Okay.
Martini is a dirty martini, slightly dirty vodka. And a dessert, cheesecake, time. And since I used to work at Cheesecake Factory, I would go with a white chocolate raspberry truffle. Yeah, I worked at Cheesecake. I've worked everywhere. I've worked at Starbucks. I worked at Cheesecake Factory. I've worked at Nordstrom's. I've worked at a Mexican restaurant called Olamendi's in Dana Point. I owned a coffee stand. I've worked a lot of places.
You just work anywhere you want all the time.
No, it's just whoever will employ me.
I love you very much. Thank you for doing this. So that was Carissa Thompson. Thank you, Carissa. You're a wonderful human. But that means it's time for junk mail.
You've got junk mail.
All right, keeping up with the hip hop theme this week.
Yep.
Today's junk mail question comes from Mason Daly. He asks, what's your favorite song in the rap yearbook? He's referring to Shea Serrano's book out now, which lists the most important rap song from every year since 1979.
And you all absolutely should buy it because it is Shay's amazing and funny, but even just visually that book it's awesome. It's like the best coffee table book I've ever owned. And people, anytime anyone comes to my house, which is very rare, when people come over, they're like, what is this? It's great. So everyone should go buy that book. But to answer your question, which is a tough one, my first thought was obviously Grindin' by the Clips because, oh my God, that song is so good. Yeah, and it's stuck in your head forever. But there's so many good songs. This is one of those questions that your answer, people judge you on.
Right.
And I don't want to be judged. So I'll probably throw out a couple
your
other
mind.
options.
Yeah.
Just like Kirk Cousins when you ask him what his favorite 90s movie is and he names like 5 of them. That'll be me right now. But Matt Ford, what's your favorite?
Oh, putting me on the spot. I think probably Cream. Cash rules everything around me.
Couldn't get the money. Dollar bill. No.
We don't have the rights to it, so you can't do that.
Oh man, now we're gonna have to cut that.
It's gonna cost us so much money. You're
Oh, man.
so fired.
Yeah.
Dave, what are you liking?
Mine was 1992, nothing but a G thing.
I was just gonna say that.
That's what got me
sure.
into hip hop 100%.
Yeah, there's so many good. Hustlin' though, 2006. Hustlin', like that's when we're in the studio, and things are like people are doing things, and I'm waiting to do the show. I play Hustlin' every time.
Yeah.
That was my anthem, cause every day I am hustling, hustling.
This is true about you.
Yep, it is. Oh, and A Milli is also a good one. 2008, Lil Wayne, A Milli. That's a good one. That's the song that Michael Phelps listened to before he won all those gold medals in the pool.
Wow.
Fun fact, I know sports. Did everybody feel comfortable with their answers?
I do.
Cool. That was junk mail.
That was junk mail.
That's it, you guys. We will be back next Thursday. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, rate it, leave a comment. Again, only if it's 5 stars and only if your comment is nice. Or you can listen to it on SoundCloud, Stitcher. We're getting into this stuff. Look at you. Or other podcast apps. Thanks again to Carissa Thompson. Thanks to all of you for listening. Thank you to producer Matt,
Thank you.
producer Dave, producer Kirk, producer Ashley. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Love you. Mean it.